fuel, give me fire, give me that one time.
Chris, we're having a little problem over on YouTube. Hopefully that sorts itself out. Seems to be trying to sort itself out now, but you're right. This is a great track. We've seen great races. Heck, we've been in great races on this track, Jared. What's the key here?
Then 3 and 4, it's a very banked corner. You don't really move around too much there, but that's all about momentum. You got to get on and off that corner really good to get down through the dog leg, which you can't cut the dog leg in this. Or no, we can. No, we can't. Sorry, we cannot cut the dog leg in this this league. So everybody's going to be staying above that yellow line, which is going to put a little bit more wear on those cars, those tires on the vehicles. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys manage that, especially with the hot track.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, right? Extremely hot track. Let's look at that right now. 126, actually fallen. It was early in practice, up over 140 out there. So that was maybe the hottest I've ever seen, Jared.
Yeah, we had some testing going on this week at Texas on July 1st, and we got to 132. So on the Legacy Texas. So, I mean, we're getting some hot temps lately, but 126 is no laughing matter. I'm kind of, I guess because it's 3:19 in the afternoon, I think that's why it's a little bit colder. I would expect maybe, 140 degrees maybe here.
Yeah. We take a look in on our championship standings here. George Leal, these are unofficial, by the way. George Leal out front. Bryce Reiner in second, Jason Jackson in third. It's Greg Ratliff and Klaus Williams in your top five, followed by Ripka, Hebert, Bruce, Travis, and Spear. And, we're getting in that point of the season, right? In this mid-section of the season, Jared, where if you're going to make a move, it's time to string a few races together right now. Or not. Apparently we lost Jared momentarily.
Yeah, I totally missed it. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. We're going to string a few races together here, Jared, in the middle portion of this season.
A guy we haven't really talked a lot about, but has been consistent every race, 5 top 5s and 5 starts. And then Greg Ratliff, he's been hanging around, hasn't had the best results by his standards, but he is still there with 5 top 10s in 5 races.
And that's scary, right? When you let a guy hang around like that, he'll come up and seize the day. Let's get into tonight's starting grid. And remember, live fully alive. And we just hit the wrong button here, apparently. All right, tonight's starting grid. It's George Leal on the pole with a time of 28.247. So our points leader starts up front on the outside of row 1. Bryce Reiner. It's Person and Wrecker in row 2. Bruce and Helm in row 3. Newton and Ratliff. Travis and Williams your top 10. You got Greg Ratliff, Jason Spear, Jackson, Hebert, Ratliff, Gilly, Hunt, Beller, Buskirk, Musial, Williams, Ringtone, and Dibble. A 23-car field here. Nice little field here during Christmas time in Phoenix.
Yeah, this is a weird starting grid. I mean, you think about the fact that you have to wait on the pace car so long here, Dean, and it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, we've got some guys at the back that I think we're a little bit surprised about. We've got Ratliff, Tony Ratliff back there, Bear back there, Beller, Hunt, Rachel, very good here. Could be interesting to see how these people make it through the field.
All right, here we go. George Leal, he's got his festive look out tonight. I love it. He leads them down. We're racing here tonight in the Alive Church Phoenix 140. Santa out front trying to bring the presents home.
That's George Leal doing a great job. They're going to fan out through this corner. You can go below the yellow line just a little bit here to kind of get your car to turn a little bit.
Car outside, car inside, and Reiner touches the wall there.
Yeah, that could have been bad through that corner.
Very aggressive here early. Leal trying to hold off the Hardee's machine of Bernard Person. Switched it up a bit. He's got the 18 on the car there tonight. I think that's custom number, could not be changed. So Person out front, and this is no surprise. Leal tried to hold him up a little bit, but this is kind of what Person does, isn't it, Jared?
Yeah, that's the thing about Phoenix. It's very difficult to pass. Not a lot of grooves at this track except in 1 and 2, so you kind of get locked in behind people as this race goes on. You have to make your moves early.
And Bruce makes a move. So Reiner's fading here early. I don't know. I don't think that's on purpose. Looks like he made a little charge, and since he's backed out. Now the Bulldog, Adam Newton, comes underneath him.
Adam hasn't made a lot of starts so far in this particular season, but he is out here making some moves. You see some already starting to get single file. A little bit of battle back in the back with Rachel Hunt there, but that's gotten single file quickly. A little bit of a dive there by the number 2 machine of Adam Newton, trying to make a move on Bryce Reiner. That's a battle for that top 4 that Dean was talking about. And as that's going on, Jason Ratliff underneath of Adam Recker off of turn number 2, trying to make a move down into turn number 3.
Yeah, he's going to bring his brother Greg Ratliff with him here. So Greg now working on Recker.
And Dean, you remember a few weeks back, Jason Ratliff with that crazy pit strategy trying to make it at Dover, nearly did, had that caution come out, kind of saved him, but he ended up getting past because he didn't have those fresh tires.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I absolutely loved that race. Loved what I seen from Jason, and I still like him when I'm seeing from Jason. Every year, he seems to get a little bit better here. I mean, in general, not just here. So the 55 is another guy as he touches the wall there that is kind of on the come these days.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we like to see in this this league is, you know, some guys that have developed as the races have gone on. We raced 38 times last year, not including the All-Star races, and we're already up to about 6 this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see. Bruce comes underneath Leal, so Darren Bruce up to 2nd. Leal has slid to 3rd. Now, what we're looking at here is probably a one-stop race here, Jared. On fuel, I think he can do well over 70. So these guys, some of them may be thinking long-term here.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of what you have to do at this track. Is if you can't make the move in the first 3 or 4 laps, you're going to have to sit in line and just try to save your stuff and try to make up that time later on.
Well, that's the thing. So let's do that, right? Let's say we're Paul K. Travis here, who's managed to get, say, 3 spots. Now, that's great and all, but it's irrelevant to this conversation. In about another 10 or 20 laps, and Bernard Person has pulled off the track from the lead. Our race leader is on pit road. What in tarnation is going on?
He said something over the radio. Couldn't quite hear him, but I think he's done, Dean.
It could be. I know, Bernie, physical ailments here and there, plus other commitments at home. I guess that's it for him. That hands it over to Darren Bruce. My goodness. And Reiner now battling back after losing a few spots. All of a sudden, he finds himself battling for 2nd again.
This is a tight battle. Leal, we know how tough he is. And Leal, Dean, you talk about the Alive Church Series. I mean, we only have 13 races before the end of the year, so 8 races left. He's got I would say that he's not in the mood to really give up points, but he's also cognizant of where he's at in points, and he doesn't want to put himself at a risk to get wrecked or get into any kind of issues as the race goes on. Got to be points racing.
Yeah, you definitely do. Yeah, I mean, he is cognizant of that, or should be. Like I said, we're approaching the midway mark of this season, and this is about not giving it away for him. I mean, he's got a little bit of a lead here. Top 5s are your best friend right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So the battle rages on here, Jared.
Yeah, sorry, I just kind of looking through the field here, and everybody really single file, but except for that battle for 2nd place.
Yeah, and that's kind of standard. That's where I was going before the Person pit there kind of freaked me out. But, as this run goes on, right about now, it gets very difficult to pass as you see Leal working that outside lane, something you can do, particular in that corner. But, what do you do here if you're, like I said, Paul K. Travis? So you're in 5th position. Are you even thinking about trying to get a spot at this point? Are you just riding and let's get to pit stops?
Yeah, I think you have to kind of be in that mentality, right? Kind of conserve your stuff.
Like I can remember, Jared, just to give you more info, I being in races here with some guys you can imagine who I'm thinking about, because you raced with me too, where you might follow them for over 100 laps.
Yeah, and I think at that point you have to kind of play your pit stops to try to get the advantage, because it is a tough track to pass on. I cannot emphasize that enough. This track is so difficult. I mean, we ran earlier this year, me and a teammate of mine ran head-to-head, same setup. I was out front. He was not able to pass me after 30 laps. We did the same thing, flipped each other. I was behind him. He was in front of me, and I could not pass him, I mean, on the same setup. So it is a very hard track to pass on. I don't think people realize that nearly as much.
I'm just thinking about turn 1. Is there any opportunities there, Jared, on that high side? Get up there, up by the wall, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, not on lap 15, but as this run goes on, you have to move up there. There's a lot of... oh, my goodness. That was bad there for a second. You have to move up by the wall if you want to really get a run off the corner. And also, the other thing is you hold people down. That's the underrated thing about the outside groove. Yeah, is it faster by yourself? It depends. But is it better when you have somebody trying to charge on you? Absolutely, because they can't get the run off the corner the way they want to. You're seeing Reiner now kind of moving about a half lane up, really hurting Newton's run off.
Yeah, I mean, we witnessed that. Reiner definitely doing that, and that is a great defensive line, particularly in 1 there.
You can see right now, everybody getting a little bit separated out. You go back, really, Klaus Williams to James A. Bear, the biggest gap on the track, about 1.1 seconds. And then you've got another about half a second back from Beller to Corey Buskirk and that little group in the back there. They've kind of been battling here and there. But everybody doing a really good job at this track, Dean. Just kind of feeling each other out at this point.
Just did St. George Dibble do a complete slide on the exit of the corner there. A little bit of drift action. So this is definitely Phoenix. Hot summer day here in December on the track. Darren Bruce leading. And now this is man against track here tonight. These guys are going to have to strategize and play out a full 70-lap run. And it's going to be interesting. Of course, a little dull here in this stage. But this is the type of racing we love, Jared. There are people back here, from 2nd to 10th, all thinking different, playing their strategies different, and they're getting ready to say whether they want to come forward, whether they want to come into the pits early. There's a lot of things they could do here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty long race. I mean, we've got to do 140 laps. You can do about 90 laps on a full tank of gas here, something along those lines. Usually in the Open Series we don't do that, but it is doable. So this is a one-stop race. I don't think there's any reason to do a two-stopper or anything like that tonight. But it is going to be interesting to see when these guys pit, because there's so many ranges of different ideas to pit on.
Yeah, it's wide open. I'm not sure if you know the fuel mileage here, but it's got to be pushing 100 laps, is it not?
Yeah, 90 laps, yeah.
So 90 laps, it'll give you like a 20-lap pit window or more. I mean, 40, really, the window.
Yeah, and those listening at home, you can tell how much Dean listens to. I'm
sorry. Did you just say that?
I did. I literally was just talking about the field.
Well, we got to give a little context. I'm doing various things in the booth here.
I'm giving Dean a hard time because I was late tonight. So,
it's
I have
Christmas time, Jared. So, when I visit the family, the relatives and all that, I learn to tune people out a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, Dean, you got an A+. No, I'm just kidding. But as the battle rages on, I'm watching Paul K. Travis, and I like what he's doing. He knows there's not really a good way through here, Dean. Like, he's got Adam Newton in front of him. He's got Reiner. He's got Leal. He's just kind of laying back here, just kind of getting some air on the nose, letting that car rotate, letting Adam go up here in charge and try to fight with Reiner a little bit, because he knows there's not really any way for him to get through here. Save my stuff. Just hang out. Save my stuff and just see what happens here in the next 20 laps or so.
Yeah, I mean, we're on board with Paul K. Travis, and you can see the different lines here. I like what I'm seeing in front of him out of Newton. I think Paul K.'s running a good line as well. You know, getting that car down on the bottom, it should pay off long term, but I don't know. These cars are very loose, Jared.
Yeah, they have become very loose on these setups that have been put out lately, which I am a big fan of. I mean, it really forces the driver to be on top of his game racing these vehicles now.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Loose is fast, tight is just tight.
Yeah, I think tight, works, but it you have to manage the car, and it doesn't exactly make it, a race where the best win. It's more about like, I have to back off, whereas a loose car, you can be more aggressive with it. And if you're too aggressive, you're going to pay, right? I mean, that's always how it works. Got a big battle back here, though. Greg Ratliff going after Adam Recker and Jason Jetson back here.
Well,
and Jason
Ratliff brothers were going at it pretty hard there for a minute. Jackson slides right in.
That's the back half of the top 10 there. Jason Ratliff continuing to get bombarded by everybody there. He got out of the groove. Just watching Brian Helm way up the track there. He's using that outside line. That's what I love to do. Get that right rear right up against the wall in the apex of 1 and 2, Dean, and just power it off the corner. And it is such a fast line. You will make up time. Let's see what that lap time for Brian Helm is this lap by, because I think he's going to be gaining some time here on the guys in front of him. And he did. He did gain a little bit of time. Well, actually, he didn't. He lost a little time. So.
Right. I wasn't gonna correct you, Jared, but I'm glad you self-corrected there. Yeah, it's hard to say. Visually, it looks like he's doing quite well, and he might be catching Paul K.
It might be too early to go up there, but I do like that line that he was running there. And really, what I'm most impressed with is second through basically about 10th, 11th, Dean is not only about a second and a half or so difference there, maybe 2 seconds at most. These guys all run the same lap time, and they're just barely spaced out enough to where they're getting some clean air on the car, and it's kind of giving them this accordion effect that we talk about every time we're at these races, these smaller tracks. And big somebody got loose there.
It was actually Paul K got a little loose, but it was just him putting the power down. He got a big run off of it, come to the inside of Newton. Not meant to be, though. Newton powers off and holds that spot. What am I noticing is it seems to be Darren Bruce, who charged out to an early lead, starting to slow down a little bit here, Jared.
Yeah, he's about a 10th and a half slower than George Leal. No surprise, George very conservative at the beginning of the run, willing to kind of be in a position where he may be on the back foot a little bit in those first 15, 20 laps, but he always comes out with a better lap time on these last little bit toward the end of the run. That time, not so good. Darren Bruce found a little speed, though, right there, running a little bit higher up. So it's there's a lot of blows being traded here right now, and we'll have to see how this transpires as the run goes on.
Yeah, and you brought up something there, George Leal, something I absolutely love about him, and people like him. The reason he's a points leader, the reason he could be a future champion, is because he has a plan. And you're not going to deviate from him. If he's got to give up 3 or 4 spots, he'll do it. If he has to take 2 or 3 spots, he'll do it. But whatever his plan is, you're not going to make him change it. He's not going to race harder than he wants to.
No, he's not. He's not willing to change how he's driving because you want to go forward. And we've seen that bite him a couple times, but at the same time, I would say more often than not, it hasn't. It's paid off for him.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of races where late in the race, who's coming? George Leal, because he stuck to his plan. You're right, it can bite you. There's no perfect strategy out here, but I just like when people have one and they stick with it and they play it out.
Yeah, Leal about half a tenth quicker that time than Bruce. So it's, I mean, you're not making a lot of time up, but you are making some time up.
Okay, still behind the Bulldog. That battle for 4th and 5th. It's Helm in 6th with Wrecker coming right there behind him, along with Greg Ratliff and Jason Jackson. Claus Williams also in this group. And then there's Jason Ratliff. He's fallen off a little bit here. He's got Bear and Tony Ratliff coming.
There's Paul K trying to make a move on Newton, and as I was talking earlier, Dean, when you're on the inside and you're trying to pass on the inside, I should say, it is so hard because you can't get that run off the corner, right? I mean, your momentum is stuck because you can't wipe out as far as you want to go, and that's why it's really crucial to kind of use every bit of the track, go below the yellow line, do what you have to do, and really, I think Newton is kind of holding this group up because, from Newton back, the top 3 have checked out, and then everybody else is caught up to Newton, and they're like Helm is on the back bumper now. All these guys have really kind of accordioned up here, and I think that Paul K is going to have to make a move, or he's going to be caught from behind.
Yeah, speaking of getting caught from behind, our leader being run down by George Leal and Bryce Reiner. We're about halfway through the first run here, so already Bruce is going to be challenged here. But track position, the most important thing, he has that.
He does. And Dean, you look at the data, right? I'm a big data guy, and there's not analytics for specific things, but one thing I can tell you, like in my notes watched last year, I have 38 races worth of notes, right? Love to write stuff down so I can remember. Otherwise I'll never remember anything. But the one thing I'll tell you about Darren Bruce is he is very good, very, very on top of it, but there are points in the race every time he's out front he seems to lose just a little bit of consistency, Dean. And right now you're looking at, he's jumping from a 28.9 or a 28.8 down to a 30 flat, then to a 29.9, then to 30 flat. It's just a lot of inconsistencies where the guys behind him, especially George Leal, very consistent, a very linear path in lap time.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, we've seen this before. I'm wondering if maybe the Christmas cheer is getting to him.
Absolutely.
Darren's, he's going to race his car hard, and he's going to not try to abuse those inputs, right? The wheel, the gas, the brake, but he is never going to lay down and do a 3/4 lap to save tire or something. That's just not how he's built.
No, it's not. And there's nothing wrong with that, at the end of the day.
And we're seeing guys struggle off of 1, off of 2, I guess it would be. So, Leal got a little loose there. Reiner was a little loose off the corner. I wouldn't say struggle, but the car's starting to go away a little bit here approaching lap 40, Jared.
Yeah, you can see that in lap times, right? The top 2, really the only person in the 29 still is Bryce Reiner, but not by much. Little battle back further as Brian Helm has been caught by Wrecker. Wrecker right on the back bumper of Helm. And we were talking about that battle with Adam Newton. Adam Newton was able to get out of that group. Same Paul K. Travis, and Brian Helm is now under the pressure for the guys catching back there.
Yeah, he is. He's under a lot of heat. Almost looked like he gave up the inside there to Wrecker on purpose. So Helm, either trying to hold him off or trying to let him go. But either way, they remain side by side.
Yeah, Brian Helm, a Northwest late model crew chief, has done the likes of Hannah Newhouse, for instance, that you might see on NBC and things like that back in the day. So Brian, very wily, cagey vet here, and knows that he's got an advantage, right? He knows he's down on speed. Maybe doesn't have the handling he wants right now. He's letting Wrecker have the bottom. He's like, you're going to have to dive it in there and slide job me because you're not going to be able to get the run off the corner. You see right there, Wrecker's able to get down into the corner, but he just can't get around Helm. Helm's able to hang on the right rear.
Yeah, there's a group forming behind. Greg Ratliff, Jason Jackson, Claus Williams, all there waiting to pounce.
Yeah, this is what was happening earlier when Paul K. and Newton got battling. But those guys settled out, and they spread back out, and they were able to pull away from that battle behind once that they were able to settle their differences. And now Helm's just really, really making things difficult here, racing hard, and it's killing them. It's absolutely killing their lap times. But, if you're Brian Helm, you can't give up this track position this close to pit stops.
Well, you can't give up one spot, let alone 4, and that's what he's fighting against. If he lets one go, it'll be 4 spots, not
Yeah.
1. So Brian trying everything he can here. Wrecker also trying everything he can. I like what he's seen out of Wrecker. I often talk about Phoenix. Phoenix is not usually a 1-lap pass, right? You're talking about a 5-lap pass. You've got to stay consistent on your marks and be able to race side by side for several laps.
Yeah, and the other thing too, like you said, Dean, you know, normally, like if I'm in the position, somebody catches me up, I'll let him go. But you can't let somebody go in this scenario because you've got a whole stack of cars and there's more joining in the back.
There is more coming, yeah.
I mean, it's just, you are now stuck in a position where you're like, I don't want to be the asshole here, right? But I'm going to have to be. As Wrecker finally slides up in front of Helm and clears him, now it's Greg Ratliff's turn.
And Helm tried everything to try and stay in front of the 5 of Greg Ratliff, but couldn't do it. He's going to try and get in here in front of Jackson. Can he do that? I think he might be able to do it.
Oh, it's going to be tight here down the corner. Jackson's going to let him down, or Helm had the better run off the corner there, Dean, and he's going to get in there. Jack's going to stick the nose out, but Helm's having a big problem trying to keep that car down to the yellow line, and it's really hurting his exit, I think, Dean.
It certainly is. Out front, Bruce leading. 0.4 seconds behind. You have Leal and Reiner right there. The Bulldog has made his way up to 4th position. Paul Kay up to 5th. It's Wrecker, Ratliff, Helm, Jackson, Williams, top 10. And now that fighting we were talking about brought Jason Ratliff and James A. Bear into the picture as well, with Tony Ratliff lingering right there.
Got a few guys coming down pit road, Dean. George Racon and George Dibble. Dibble on pit road for the last 3 minutes. He had a pretty good impact into the wall, but no caution for that because he was the last car running at the time. Racon, I did not see what happened to him, but he is on pit road, already 2 laps down.
Yeah, that's an unscheduled stop there from George Rincon. I mean, he might be able to make it from here. Could this be a power play from Rincon?
Yeah, it could be, but I think he actually got some damage somewhere in this race, Dean. I'm going to go back and look and see if we can get some information here.
Jared, another thing here is lap times. You know, Bruce, we've seen him running these 29s and then 30s and 29s and 30s. Well, now he, 10, 15 laps later, he's running 30 flats right now. And all the other guys are in the same boat. So we're seeing that equalization happen. And that's why track position is so important here.
Absolutely. And I totally agree. At this track, it's just so difficult.
Jason Jackson works underneath the Helm. He'll clear him. So another one gets around Helm here. He's got to be frustrated as he's faded a few spots here in the recent laps. Behind him, you got Claus Williams. Claus looking a little racy, like he wants to come up and take this spot too. That's often what will happen, the sharks smell the chum in the water.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what happens is, you get one guy out of balance, everybody's like, well, I'm faster than this guy, I got to get around him. Even if you're not, that's what your mentality is thinking right now.
So I love what we've seen from Bruce here so far. It gets out to a lead. They're closing in, and now on lap 50, he's faster than the 2 behind him. So it was just a matter of time, and that's another reason to not let people pass you here at Phoenix, Jared, because what is true for 20 laps isn't true for 40 or 60.
Yeah, and the other thing with that too, Dean, is, I said it before, it's easier to close the gap down 3-2 seconds, easier to do that. But once you get below 1 second, it becomes a very incremental micro gain every time. No matter if you've been tenths faster before, that dirty air just absolutely changes the way the handling goes, and it just makes things really difficult. I mean, Leal and Reiner are quicker, but you'll notice, like this time they were 29.9s. But you'll notice this lap, I guarantee you, they're about a tenth slower than Bruce when we come across the line here. And that's just because of that dirty air effect.
Yeah, that's a great point. So they can run the 29.9s, they just can't run it in the dirty air.
You see right here, I mean, they've lost about a half a tenth this lap. You'll see at the line. And it's a good run. They actually did better than I thought. But they were actually still about a tenth quicker. But I am surprised because Bruce is very much parking it. But there he goes. He opens up that bottom line and lets Leo get air on his nose. And I think that's a bad decision when you're in the lead and you're getting caught. You've got to play defensive. You can't run that offensive line.
What about this? What about going a little high? You give the guy some false confidence with that air, but you sweep down as Leo makes a move. So Bruce there stumbled a little bit. Leo down on the bottom. Heads down into one looking for the race lead, and he's going to get it. Reiner's going to follow right on through. So first to third goes Bruce. Second to first goes Leo.
Yeah, if that was the plan, it backfired because he got a little bit high in 3 and 4, Dean, and it was enough. It was just enough. And he's trying to find any grip. He's trying to find grip on that car, and he's just not able to do it. And Leo was able to pin his car down to the yellow line on entry and just able to power by to put George Leo, our point leader, back in the lead, Dean.
Yeah, and I think it's got a lot to do with that paint job out there. You know, you put that Christmas spirit out here on the track, and it's going to be brought to the front. It's just a theory, Jared.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. And you see, going back a little bit further, Brian Helm was able to get in behind Jason Jackson. Now he's under intense pressure from Klaus Williams back there. So another tight battle for Brian Helm. And there's more guys that have caught up to the back of Brian Helm there. I mean, we're talking about Tony Ratliff, James A. Bear, Eric Beller, Jason Spear in that mix as well at the tail end of that group.
Yeah, Helm's going to be wore out by the end of this race, Jared. He's going to have to put in a lot of work here this evening.
So right now working lap 56, and as I said, the window is open. You can make it from here. I don't necessarily think that's a great strategy, but it is possible.
Yeah, I mean, if you want track position, so this would be 13 laps early, you'd have to add them on to the next run, which would make that an 83-lap run. I mean, I'm with you. It's a little bit much maybe, but it's doable, Jared.
Yeah, I like it. I look at somebody like Jason Spear, right? 15th. You're kind of been off the back all night. Haven't really ran what I would consider top 5% lap times. Go on pit road around lap 60 or 70 and just cruise and just see if you can make something happen at the end of this race. Maybe catch a caution, catch a break somewhere in there. That's kind of where I would be looking. Him or Eric Beller or Rachel Hunt, Tony Ratliff, A. Bear, somebody like that. You're going to finish 14th or 12th anyway if you don't deviate from your strategy. Try something different.
Yeah, absolutely. I am with you there. The Toad Man, Rachel Hunt, Ricky Williams, all are here. They got nothing to lose. You know what Ricky will do? Ricky will stay out here till about lap 100 if he can.
Yeah, and that's a great strategy too because it's inverse, right? You either stay out long or you come in short.
Back out front, check in on our little race leader, George Leal. Bryce Reiner hanging with him. Bruce fading a little bit, but he's still right in this thing. And Newton, the Bulldog, is lurking and stalking along with Paul K. Travis. And Paul K. will get a good zoomed in look here of this alive church machine. I just love seeing the title sponsors out there on the cars.
Yeah, doing a great job sponsoring this league. Give us the opportunity to broadcast. I mean, it's great coming out here every week to get these guys the publicity they deserve.
Yeah, and I just love their motto, live fully alive. I mean, yeah. I'd be lying if I said I did that each and every day, but I work right on it each and every day.
Yeah, I think we all do, right?
Absolutely.
Back out front, though, I mean, Leal is right now just kind of, playing, the game right now with Bryce Reiner. Reiner looking very good, has that opportunity to make a move, but he just can't quite get there. I think it's just, right now you're kind of waiting for those pit stops to kind of start.
Jared, let's hop on board with Bryce Reiner here and just see if you can see anything here. He drives in a little deep, a little wide there through 1 or through 4. I don't even know where we are right now.
He's coming down the backstretch into turn 3 right now. Runs a little bit high up on that first seam, so he's kind of running that first seam. The car is just not able to get down. You hear him way off the throttle. Here we go at start-finish line. Little blip of the throttle there. Can't go full throttle through the dogleg late in the run. Brake at the black sign. That's great. A little bit lower inch, or a little bit higher entry than George Leal, but he gets down to the yellow line sooner. Going to try to power off the corner, get some clean air, but he's putting a lot of wheel spin on that right rear right now, Dean. And might cost him.
Sure, when you watch him, those couple of corners that he kind of entered high and very straight even, is this car really tight on entry, or are we just watching a guy trying to manage a vehicle that's got a loose condition?
Well, I think right now, I don't know if it's a loose or tight condition. I'm not seeing anything dramatic in the wheel, but I'll tell you what is happening is he's trying to get a run to try to make a move on George Leal, in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks like he's searching around a little bit, trying to find a little extra something. Lap 64, 140, pit stops are imminent, windows open, and we're begging someone to come in here for a short pit. Not happening right now.
Yeah, I think if these guys listen back to the broadcast, I don't think they'd win very many races with our advice, but I do like the idea.
I like people taking my advice whether it works or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can always say, why'd you listen to me?
Yeah, exactly. You can always put that back in the face, like, well, I'm in the booth. Like, what are you talking about?
What do I know? So Leal leading here. Like I said, lap 66, coming to 67. And we're going to see a flood of pit stops because one thing these guys can do is they can do math, Jared. They're going to figure out lap 70, and that's when they're all going to come in, apparently. I think a lot of them will go long, to be honest. It's kind of what the go-to here is, to go 5 laps longer or so.
Musial does come on pit road here on lap 66 from the back, so he is going to try a different strategy. But that is the strategy, right? It's a lot easier to go long and run short at the end because you can go harder at the beginning of your run. If you come in early, you cannot press your best lap times. You start putting down hot laps right when you come out of pits, you're going to be in trouble when the run ends. You have to be very conservative. And a lot of people just either A, don't want to do that, B, don't believe it's faster, or C, feel like that they're giving up something going in early. So you have to be conservative doing it.
You certainly do. There's Jason Spear in 15th. In front of him, you see Beller. We haven't talked about Beller yet. Very quiet run for him.
George Leal very loose off of turn number
Beller's
2.
in. So I like this from Beller. He's, in no man's land, so to speak, in 14th. He's going to come in a hair early, try and jump a driver or two. I like the call from Eric Beller.
Yeah, Leal made a mistake out of turn number 2 last time by, Dean, and it's allowed Bryce Reiner to close right up on the back bumper of that 51 machine. And Reiner's doing everything he can right now to look underneath and try to make a move. Here he goes into turn 3.
So Reiner down to the bottom. Leal trying to hold him off on the high side. I think he will. The 51's going to be a tough pass here. Late in the run, pit stops are imminent. Claus Williams heads to pit road.
I like these moves by these guys back here. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to finish in the same spot. So I think that these are great moves. They just have to be conservative on their exits. Don't put hot laps down right now.
Jackson and Abear come in.
Adam Newton, the fastest guy last time by the way, 30 flat. And then Greg Ratliff at 29.95 actually that time.
You want to talk about guys who improved. I mean, he's been improved for several seasons now. But from back when we knew him, Jared, to now, this is all about effort and practice. Newton is a real deal at this point.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I mean, he is putting down good lap times. I think his gap is just a little bit too much, but he is getting good time. His record comes down pit road.
Yeah, him and Buskirk are in. Rachel Hunt's in. Looks like the Toad Man had already come in, along with Ricky Williams. Ricky coming in earlier than normal. I like it.
He maybe conservative by Ricky's standards here.
A little bit.
And Beller puts down his fastest lap of the race, so that's not a good indication of the early pit stop.
Well, I mean, that's your way of looking at it was a green flag look at it, right? I like it. He's in 14th. Let's get all we can here. Let's hope for a timely caution, and we gain, 4 or 5 spots, hopefully. Greg Ratliff on pit road, Tony Ratliff, Wrecker, all on pit road. Wrecker's coming off pit road right now.
Huge for Todd Gilly. He gets off the pit road in front of the leader, so he doesn't lose 2 laps. Only loses 1 lap, and that's the key thing. You don't want to go 2 laps down and have to fight your way back past the leaders. So Gilly, just ahead of the leaders, stays 1 lap down.
All right, the Toad Man doing his work. Leal and Reiner battling. Bruce has slipped back, but is hanging in there. Newton, whoa! With some speed, Ricky Williams tears by the Bulldog.
And K in his pits, the Ratliff brothers on and off pit road now. And the fastest lap of the race, Jason Jackson, 28.4. Times are picking up.
Yeah, times are picking up. Let's look in on the track temp. Down to 117, so we're down about 7 degrees on the track temp. Right now, our top 6, Leal, Reiner, Bruce, Newton, Ratliff, and Spear. Here comes Newton. So Newton going to hit pit road here. That looks like a pretty good entrance. He'll look to make up some time here.
Ryan Helm on pit road as well.
Yeah, Helm had come in a little bit ago, so he's been sitting here for a bit now. We'll look at our pit board here and see what kind of time that was for Helm. No, it looks like it was scheduled 14.8, so just perception versus reality. Darren Bruce hits pit road, skirting by those barrels. Behind him, that looked like Jason Ratliff coming in pretty hot there. Jason not far behind Darren Bruce. He's having a good run. So Leal still holding off Reiner. These guys got to come in. Spear moves up to 3rd now.
And the key right now is, like, you got these fast guys on new tires, right? And you don't want to be in the right. Here comes Reiner off turn number 2. Into pit road, hot. Into pit road, good entry right there. Locks it down, the right rear locked up. Did he speed? That's going to be the question.
I don't think he did, but what do I know? He could have. So now we're going on board with Leal. We expect him in this time by.
And that would leave just Jason Spear and George Leal yet to pit.
Here he comes. We're riding with him. Your leader, George Leal, peels off pretty conservative. Not bad, though. Looks like a good stop for Leal. That's going to hand over the race lead to Jason Spear. The 83 machine getting a little air time out here. Lap 78 of 140.
And now if you're Jason, you have to shut this thing all the way out at this point. You have to stay out as long as you can because you're kind of in the back. You're at the back door at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he was in 15th at the beginning of pit stops. I mean, I see no point for him to change anything. Just ride this out, hope for a caution. If he gets one, there's going to be a lot of people in trouble.
Early.
He's coming in.
I would wait till at least 85 personally, but, I get it. He's going to still have a tire advantage.
It depends on the fuel, right? He might be a fuel problem. And Leal is falling. What is going on with George Leal? Our race leader had sped on pit road on that good entrance. He's falling 17th, 18th. Oh, my.
Yeah, 15 seconds difference on pit lane time, so he definitely sped on entry. That's going to cost him the race, I believe, Dean.
Boy, is it ever. So, now, Claus Williams out front. He pitted on lap 69. How did him and Jackson come out in front of everybody? What in tarnation is going on?
Well, I mean, you're talking about a 2-second fall off, right? I mean, we were running 30 flats at the end of the run. We started off 28.5s, 28.6s. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking about a 1.5-second fall off. And especially that gets mitigated and added on at the end of those runs as you undercut that. So you think about that. These other guys on the fresher tires, they're going to be coming through the field in a hurry. Darren Bruce on 7-lap newer tires. Reiner somewhere in here on 8-lap newer tires. Jackson going to battle for the lead here.
This is unbelievable stuff. Claus Williams trying to hold off Jason Jackson. Wrecker's in third with Abear fourth. Greg Ratliff into fifth. And all of our leaders seemingly disappeared. Reiner now in sixth. You got Paul K. seventh. Adam Newton in eighth. Darren Bruce in ninth. And then Tony Ratliff. So, I mean, wow, what a shakeup.
Yeah, now it's going to be interesting. Reiner, I think Reiner's going to get through this group good, but Darren Bruce is a little bit further back. He's going to have to pass a few more guys, including, guys like Adam Newton, who have just one lap newer tires.
Bruce had some kind of issue, I think, because he come up behind a lot of drivers. Maybe it was just when he pitted, but I think not his best pit stop as well.
Yeah, total lap time there, 47.2. I mean, it was actually one of the best ones. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure, but yeah, you're right.
He's in a world of trouble back here, in my opinion, just because of what you said. I mean, he's got Newton right in front of him. He's got Paul K. right there, Greg Ratliff right there. None of them are easy passes.
Absolutely not. And the thing that I think is going to be interesting is, Claus Williams is proving the dirty air thing, right? He's really holding everything up here, and not that he's doing anything wrong, but it's causing everybody to kind of accordion back up here really quickly, but nobody can make a move on Claus right now.
This is a big help to the Bryce Reiners of the world. These guys up front running a little slower. It's making it easier for the 14 to catch up. Along with some of these other guys, they're coming in a hurry. There's a train of cars that coming.
Yeah, and I think if you're Claus Williams, I think if you're Jason Jackson or Adam Wrecker, you're kind of like, man, if we could just get by Claus, I think we could stave him off for a few more laps. But I think Reiner's going to get there, and the thing is, he's going to open up a gap. As soon as he gets around these guys, he's going to be gone, and then Bruce and Newton are going to be in trouble here.
We got John Travis out in YouTube land. I mean, imagine he's rooting on Paul K., but he's also rooting on George Leal. So Leal, I mean, unfortunate for George. My goodness, he's in 16th. I mean, he's still running great lap times, but his night is effectively over.
Yeah, he needs caution in a world of trouble at this point in time, right?
Yeah, I mean, even with the caution, he's going to be in some serious trouble. Back in 15th position, Jackson and Williams going at it. Right behind them, Wrecker and Reiner. So things bottlenecking now. We got another 5 cars coming. This thing is about to heat up.
Yeah, and if I'm Jason Jackson, I mean, it's time to go. I would kind of arc out Claus Williams here, I'm not going to lie, because, I mean, you're going to lose so much time. Williams just all over right now, trying to do everything he can, and Reiner's trying to find a spot through. He already got by Wrecker. He's going to be in the lead in no time.
Well, this is the thing. This is hurting Reiner when Reiner might think, hey, I know I'm racing everybody and all, but I'm really racing, say, Paul K. and Newton and Bruce. And this is allowing them to catch up to me here. This is getting crazy, Jared. We're about to have a 10-car pack for the lead. Jason Jackson working on Claus Williams. Reiner continues to work on Wrecker.
I think this all plays out for Reiner. I think this is all in his hands because he's able to sit there and just kind of conserve a little bit and just kind of wait for an opening to happen here because, he's got the freshest tires of this entire group.
Well, I think it'd play for him if he got through here clean and quick, but he's starting to make his way through. If he can clear Jackson, I mean, this could be the best thing that ever happened to Reiner. But if he can't, there are others, and they're coming right now. Right now, looks like Newton trying to make a move. Or actually, that's Greg Ratliff trying to make some moves. Newton and Bruce on the outside.
We haven't talked a lot about Greg Ratliff in this season, Dean. He's had kind of a rough time of it. I mean, he's had 5 top 10s, but they've been kind of back half top 10s as Reiner clears Jackson, goes to the lead.
Yeah, Bryce Reiner back out front or to the front for the first time maybe tonight. But he is going to be hard to catch. So now you look at these other guys, Newton, Bruce, Ratliff, Helm, some later pitters, They got to get through this traffic. I mean, they're in a world of trouble here. Newton knows it. He's all over the back end of James Hebert.
Yeah, this gap has already opened up. I mean, I think Bryce Reiner's got this thing in the bag unless something crazy happens here.
This is some great racing right now. Let's go to the back of this group and go on board with Greg Ratliff. You know, I don't know what you're looking out the windshield. You got Bruce in front of you. You see cars everywhere fighting each other. What are you gonna do here, Jared?
I think that's the problem, right? It's you're kind of at the mercy of a lane opening up for you. So you're just kind of waiting and watching.
Paul K has hit pit road. Paul K. Travis hits pit road. What has happened?
That's unscheduled. Big time unscheduled. I'll see if I can get a look in and see if I can find anything out.
I mean, we'll try and get a replay here. Yeah, I don't think we can find anything on my end here. But that is unscheduled. The Alive Church machine sitting on pit road. What a shame for Paul K. Travis. Bryce Reiner, your race leader, opening it up on Jason Jackson, who got by Claus Williams. Claus and Wrecker still battling. And now Hebert, Newton, Bruce, and Ratliff have joined the group.
Yeah, and from what I can tell, Dean, he had some sort of computer issue. He didn't lag out, but he was gone for a while, and I wonder if maybe like a computer malfunction happened on his end, but he's pulled it to the garage. So a tough break for Paul K., who's running the top 5 most of the night.
Yeah, tough break. I love what I'm seeing right now from the Bulldog. He's grabbed the reins and headed to the outside lane to make his passes, Jared.
Yeah, that's what you got to do at this point. Hebert at the mercy.
And Bruce sees it. He sees it work, and he says, I'll come up there. He hops right on the bumper of the 2. So they finally figured it out. They're on the high side, making progress. Meanwhile, Reiner blinking out a little bit. So, I mean, that could be another computer problem in the works.
Yeah, this race is going to come right down to it, I think, at this point.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, Reiner has such an advantage at this point. He got through all that traffic and nobody else has. I mean, how about these guys, Jackson and Williams? Let's check the pit board and Wrecker, see when they came in. So, you know, lap 70, lap 69, lap 71. That is further than halfway. Everybody loves the long pit in this league. These guys actually went long and jumped everybody as if they had short pitted.
And there is a follow-up point where the car starts to get, there's no advantage anymore, right? No matter how far you've been on the tires. That follow-up point, Dean, that first time around really came around, I would say 25 laps into the run. 25 laps into the run, the car didn't really get a whole lot slower, maybe a tenth from 25 to the time they pitted. Right, so 30 laps, there was no fall off. The first little bit was a big amount of fall off. So I kind of look at that and I'm like, you know, these guys that pitted early, they're at a good advantage because we're getting into the fall off zone, Dean, really quickly.
Yeah. And we've seen, you know, Darren Bruce, his car was kind of going away a little bit, running 30 flats for the whole back end of the run. Bryce Reiner squeaking a little quicker every once in a while in the 29s in the latter periods of the run. I mean, we're already running 29.5s, 29.7s in this pack we're looking at right now. So we're talking about 0.3 of a second over the next 40 laps. That's nothing, Jared.
Yeah, if Jason Jackson, Claus Williams, and Wrecker are able to hold position for probably the next 10 laps, it's going to be very hard for that tire advantage that Newton and Bruce and that group have to really come into play here. They're going to be pretty much on equal playing field by that point in time.
I just love seeing all these cars together fighting. You got Williams up high, Wrecker down low. Williams finally is going to try and get a good run here. I don't think he's quite there yet.
George Racone's going to be an issue here. Oh,
Woo!
Wrecker tight. Man, Newton and Klaus Williams really pushing down on Wrecker. Wrecker could not move an inch, and Racone right there trying to get out of the way and just nowhere he can go either at the same time.
That was crazy. Guys are getting antsy. They want to get through here. Bruce slides up behind Newton. So Wrecker down on the bottom, getting pinched down there a little bit as these three get by, and they have, they get no more patience.
Yeah, because we're getting into the fall-up zone for all these cars to where there's no advantage for the new tires. It's coming quick, and Newton knows that. He's got to make these moves now if he's going to make them.
So here comes A-Bear too. A-Bear having a nice race. He's up 7 spots, about to make it 8 as he works on Wrecker. Wrecker, the poor guy,
oh my gosh.
the car, they're slinging it around, Jared.
Yeah, Klaus Williams and Newton both very loose off turn 2, and I thought we were going to have wreck there, both looking at the infield wall.
Absolutely amazing running out of these guys here. Newton dives down to the bottom. Will the car hold? It does. He tries to get a drive off the corner. It's going to be tough, but he's got a little nose down there, but no. Williams pulls away.
Well, the thing I'm seeing, Dean, is the high line that I like to run. A lot of marbles up there. A lot of marbles. And nobody has gone up there all race to kind of clean that off. We haven't had any cautions.
Oh!
And
Newton bobbles. Sorry, it looked like he was going to drive straight into Klaus Williams, but he corrected it. My goodness.
It's kind of, basically all I was going to say is that it's taken away that top line just a little bit in 3 and 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely it has. And you brought that up last race, so they get clean during a caution. But we don't get many cautions here, so it's dirty up there. It's dangerous up there.
Williams made a bobble through the dog leg, going to open the door again, but that 1 and 2 is really narrow. Williams gets up almost into the marble area. He's going to cut down. He's not going to get quite there. But, he bobbled hard. He got up in the marbles, Dean.
Yeah, he got a little bit up high there. That brings Newton through. Bruce is probably going to come through. Maybe not yet, though. Williams very adept at the high line. Wrecker still losing some spots as Greg Ratliff has got around. Brian Helm is starting to come back. He's working his way around.
Well, I'll tell you who's loving this. Jason Jackson. He's on the oldest tires of this group besides, I think, Klaus Williams. And he's been able to kind of scoot away and not have to deal with this. He hasn't pulled a big gap, but he has been able to open it up just a little bit. And the lap times are not that much different between him and Newton right now.
So 32 laps left. Newton and Bruce got through the traffic eventually. They haven't gotten to Jason Jackson yet. And Bryce Reiner has opened up almost a 5-second lead on Jason Jackson and almost 6 on Adam Newton. And we got a wreck. Klaus Williams and Wrecker are wrecking.
And that is
caution
huge.
On the track.
Huge. What a play by Jason Jackson. That works for him. He is going to come out massively in this exchange.
Yeah, it worked out just fantastic for Jackson. Here we can see Helm and Wrecker. Oh, up in front! And it was, we'll stop it and go back a little bit. You can see off the corner the white car of Klaus Williams. He just gets the car pointed a little down the track almost.
Yeah.
On the exit, like he might have got a little loose here. And yes, right there, he's a little loose. The car is sideways, but it's gripping, and it pulls it down right in front of Greg Ratliff. Nothing Greg could do there. And Greg somehow checks up and gets around, but behind him, Wrecker is sliding, trying to miss this perhaps under braking, but it brings him right into it.
Yeah, tough break for Adam Wrecker, who's doing everything he could there on those older tires. But, boy, this shakes everything up. Number one, it gets George Leal back into play. Number two, it gets Jason Jackson into play because he had the second oldest tires of that group that were still there. And number three, Bryce Reiner's lead of 5 seconds is evaporated. And the marbles have cleared.
And the marbles have cleared, that's right. Right now, Buskirk becomes the leader. Reiner falls into second. Jackson comes off third, Newton fourth, Bruce fifth. So everything pretty status quo on that round of pit stops. Trying to see if anybody really suffered or anything during that pit stop. Can't find anybody. Hunt is in, Gilly's in, Wrecker's in.
I have to look here and see when this updates because my scoring is a little bit off right now. So
Right now, Corey Buskirk out front did not pit. I don't know, is he pitted on lap 71.
yeah,
I mean, he might try and stay out. And if he does, with this group, it's not a winning strategy, but it's an interesting one, Jared.
He does stay out because we're lined up ready back to go. Rincon gets the wave around to put George Rincon back on 1 lap down now.
So this is a massive blow to that inside lane, right? Your Jason Jackson, your Darren Bruce. I mean, these guys are going to be in a world of hurt trying to work their way around Buskirk here.
This is a strange move. Okay, we'll see what happens.
I don't mind it here at Phoenix. I don't mind trying to stay out or even get 2 tires might have been better, but we'll see how it plays out here. We're on lap 111, coming to 112 of 140 in the live church. Phoenix 140. Green flag down and away. A good start here. Buskirk gonna try to beat Reiner down into corner number 1, but Reiner with a big head of steam. And you see Bruce jumps up there right quick like. Oh, and Jackson tries to make a move to the bottom. Buskirk 3 wide in the middle. Bruce goes low. They keep it clean.
Good job there by Buskirk not being in to hold his line there. Everybody did a good job getting through there. Newton's going to clear Jackson on the high side of 3 and 4. Jackson right up to his rear bumper. Can't get there just yet.
All right, so the Bulldog slips into second. Bruce under heat from James Hebert. Reiner's still walking away a little bit, but that was all from the start, that advantage. Adam Record is set the fastest lap of the race. Unfortunately, he's in 18th position.
Reiner has opened up that lead. Not much that anybody's going to be able to do at this point because they're going to have to turn down blistering laps, and he just put down the best lap of the whole entire race.
Yeah, Reiner is absolutely sending it here. No saving with 26 laps remaining at the line. Reiner with about almost a second lead on Newton, who's got Jackson behind him, and then Bruce and Hebert. You got to give it your all now, Jared.
Yeah, you do, and I think that you're seeing it right now. Hebert underneath of Bruce trying to make a move. Hard to pass on the bottom. Hard to pass on the bottom at this track.
Jared, the whole top 10 just laid down their best laps of the race.
Except George Leal, who was really fast earlier, but almost.
Okay.
For George, it looks like.
You are correct. George Leal did not. And George Leal does not. I mean, he might be a short run, but Leal's still going to be Leal, right? There's enough laps here where he's going to try and conserve for about 5 laps. Then you'll see him go. Reiner out front. Let's see what his time is at the line. Last lap at 28.37 at the line here. A 28.36, so very consistent. You gotta like that, Jared.
Absolutely, and we go back to George Leal real quick, Dean. He is in damage control, right? When that caution came out, he was 13th. That would have been almost all of his point lead evaporated. He's up to 8th now, so he's gained 5 points back. So he is, mitigating some of that damage of speeding on pit road, Dean. But he could have been going out of here with the points lead lost. That's how big of a swing that could have been before that caution.
Yeah, whatever happened to him earlier, speeding, I believe, it cost him dearly. But this is what champions do. They recover, and they make something out of nothing. So he'll be still looking to, try and get to a top 5 maybe. I mean, he's probably happy where he is, to be honest.
Jackson trying to get to Newton, trying everything he can to get there. Jackson's going to need to move up, Dean. He's going to have to move up in 1 and 2 and try to get a run on. There he goes. Maybe just a little bit. No, not quite. Because they're all in the middle.
They're all running that middle low line, and you're right. Someone's got to try something different. And here we go. A-Bear is going to look underneath at Jackson, so they fight for the bottom. A-Bear looking strong here this evening. The number 25 trying to work his way up into third place.
Yeah, the problem is Newton is parking 1 and 2. And if you run the bottom line, you're going to get stuck there, and you're not going to be able to get the momentum off the corner. So if you run the high side, and A-Bear loose on the bottom, my goodness, he was facing the wall.
He certainly was. He got the good hands award there, Jared.
If we give that award away, if we have one, I don't know if we do, but we do now.
We do. We'll give out some magic relish.
There you go, Mama June's. Shout out, Mama June's.
Oh, and look at Bruce surge through the early part of that corner of the center. My goodness. I mean, we just had a wide shot there, and Bruce looked like he was, and again on entry, closes right up on A-Bear and Jackson. I mean, what is explaining this closing speed?
He's just getting on the brakes good, Dean. He's probably got that bias turned up a little bit, get a little front grip there on braking, and man, A-Bear doing everything he can to get around Jason Jackson. Very aggressive there, trying to arc him out just a little bit, but can't quite clear him. He might do it here into 3.
Crazy racing. Bruce falls in behind A-Bear. A-Bear is definitely clear. Bruce looks to clear himself. He is clear, and then he isn't.
Jason Jackson just trying to be in damage control at this point. I mean, he was looking for a top 3 finish here tonight. Helm.
And Helm's going to rack him. Oh, no, he was riding him. And there goes another. That's Ratliff there, I believe. Looks like Beller gets a lick out of it as well.
Yeah, Tony Ratliff, that car is destroyed. I think that was him anyway. My goodness.
You can see it coming there, and we just could not get out of that thing. So we're going to back this up a little bit there, and you can just see the 46 could not hold the bottom here, and he starts pushing up the track, and there's just nowhere left to go, and he stays with it, and eventually around goes Jackson. Wow, tragedy here in the late stages of the race. And you can see there the Ratliffs get into each other super hard, and they drill Helm in the process. Helm comes down and gets a little bit of Rachel Hunt.
Yeah, I think Tony Ratliff was thinking that there was a spin and the car was going to kind of be high, and he was going in, didn't expect Brian Helm to be there. I think he thought George Leo got into the car, right? And it was actually the car in front of George Leo. And, man, just tough break.
How about this, Jared? The Bulldog stays on the track with 16 to go. Someone told him before this race, you don't pit with 20 to go at Phoenix, Jared.
I 100% disagree. That is a call that is going to cost him a top 5 finish here tonight, Dean.
Okay. Well, I once
10.
taught you that rule, and only the last time we were here, you were touting that rule. Now, you're not a believer anymore.
I was down it last time. That's what you just said.
Last time you liked it. This time you don't like it.
I just think that this track is too hot, Dean. I just think this one, last time we weren't as hot. I think that this is going to be a decision that Adam Newton, this is a great 2-tire opportunity, and I think maybe, no, Jason Ratliff is laps down, so he is not in the, well, actually, Jason Ratliff, so he may have taken 2, actually.
Let's look at that. So, yeah, Jason definitely took 2. It looks like Brian Helm took 2. So I like that call from those guys, and I like what Newton did. And Newton's going to choose the high side here. I like that as well.
Dan, if he finishes in the top 5, I will be shocked.
I will bet my entire Christmas fund that he will finish in the top 5, if not win this race.
Oh, my goodness. That's a gamble, man. That's like saying the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
The Lions are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
I knew that would get a rile out of you.
Newton, Reiner, Hebert, Jason Ratliff. We got George Leal and Darren Bruce. George Leal in 5th position. Crazy. Here we go. Ken Newton hold off Reiner and others. They're all coming for him. He gets a great launch, so the two down and away. Hebert now on the outside of Reiner. This could be huge for Newton.
Yeah, that could be his one saving grace to stay in the top 5 because he really backed down Reiner and everybody else got jacked up behind him.
3 wide behind him. Jason Spear momentarily was in the middle.
Oh, somebody's loose. Wrecking almost there off the corner.
Hebert all over Newton. Down into the corner. Hebert pushes up the track and rattles the cage of the 2. I know Newton won't like that. He tries to come back, but right now it's James Hebert leading this thing. Here comes Leal.
Hebert's never won a race in this league, Dean. He's trying to grab his first one, but he's got a lot of guys behind him. And look at George Leal up to 3rd.
This is getting crazy. Let's get a good look in on the 25 here of James Hebert. Out front, Bryce Reiner in 2nd, George Leal 3rd. Newton nowhere to be found. I think I might be wrong about that tire call.
Yeah, I'll be taking the check in the mail, Dean. Thank you.
I'll send back the one you sent me last time. Hebert and Reiner. Reiner just set the best lap of the race to get here to the inside of Hebert. If you know Hebert at all, he is not going to give this up. He will fight to the last lap. Sitting in the bird seat or whatever is George Leal in 3rd.
Yeah, he got loose off of turn number 4 last time around, or the time before that, Dean, and it really opened up the door for Reiner, but he's not letting Reiner get much off there, really putting it on the right rear. Reiner is trying to stay down there, has to tuck in line because he's going to get under pressure from Leal.
It's hard to win your first run. Hebert has just escaped the first battle. He's going to have to do it a couple more times. Reiner peeking left, peeking right. I think he wants to try to get to the outside of Hebert. There he goes to the high side. Hebert trying to push him out wide a little bit. Great job so far by Hebert. He has been fast here tonight, up 13 spots.
The big thing is you cannot look in your mirror. You have to drive your race. If you're James Hebert, manage that throttle. Don't get on it too soon because you're going to have to save a little bit for the end of this run.
This is absolutely nuts. Hebert looking for his first ever win here, and he's got 2 of the best all over him. He's going to have to earn it, Jared. If you know me, which you do, you know I believe in this. You've got to earn your victories. I don't want to see anybody moving over for anybody, and Hebert is now opening up a lead.
Yeah, and the big thing for Hebert is you got to hope that George Leal starts to make a move here sooner than later on Bryce Reiner, and that's going to give you a little bit of breathing room because if that battle starts happening, he'll start to step away and it will be no problem for him. But right now, with them single file, it's just getting tighter. He needs to open up turn number 2. He needs to get out to the wall. He's cutting it off just a little bit too much right now, Dean.
I like what I see out of him, and here goes Leal peeking to the inside as we're on board with George Leal. Nothing doing there. Reiner gets a nice run, kind of come back up to Hebert. Hebert has been solid. Can he just hit his marks for 6 more times, Jared?
Yeah, he's bringing it down too much off the corner, Dean. It's killing his exit off of turn number 2 right now.
You might be right, but he is still fast, and he's fast enough to be leading this thing. What a battle! 3-way battle! 6 to go for Hebert.
Reiner's there. Leal is there. Leal the point leader. Reiner second in points. Hebert not in the top 5. Hasn't had a great season so far. Looking for his first ever win in this league, Dean.
And now Leal kissed the wall. He fades back a couple of car lengths. So that could help the handling of the 14 machine. We'll have to see. what a
job.
story developing here tonight. The 25, fellow Canadian, James Hebert, out here trying to take it home. He's been great all night, Jared.
Yeah, it's unbelievable is what's been the thought right now, right? It's just been a really good job by him in this race so far.
Oh.
In this car, Dean, his best finish was second at Kansas way back in September. And he did win a Truck Series race. I wasn't there, but he won National Super Speedway. But now he's got to hold off. Two of the best. He's coming around for 3 to go.
And he just had a tough corner, and he just had another. He gets loose. Reiner hits the wall. Leo looks to peak. Reiner makes a move sideways on entry. Hebert battling back on the outside. 3 to go.
Got to modulate the throttle just a little bit more. Reiner slid it in there really deep, and that really helped Hebert because I think it was over. If Reiner hadn't slid the front end, I think it was done and dusted.
And now he might get his wish as Leo trying to get underneath Reiner. That would be all Hebert needs. Hebert coming down to 2 to go.
And what none of these guys want is a caution, Dean. They just want to get back around and finish the thing under green. Reiner sticking the nose, making Hebert think he's going to dive off in there. And you put the top 3 under a blanket going into turn 1. Reiner dives.
He dived down there, but nothing doing. Hebert closes the door. He's riding that middle line. I love it.
Down on the outside of Reiner. Hits the wall.
Oh, again.
Reiner pitched him up just a little bit there as he got
loose.
Oh,
no! Reiner and Hebert on entry. Leo to the back of Reiner. That might help Hebert as Reiner checked up. Final lap. White flag is out.
Wow, that was an aggressive move, and it might have backfired for Bryce Reiner trying to get the Hebert loose off the bottom. Coming off turn 2, Dean. Hebert's looking good.
Hebert one more corner. Can he hold off Reiner and Leo? Hebert sends it down, trying to get it to the bottom. He can. He opens up the bottom. Reiner comes underneath. Side by side at the line. They're wrecking. Hebert wins it.
Oh, what a job by James Hebert.
Holy cow. What a race. James Hebert bringing it home. How about that, Jared?
0.05 of a second the victory. And what a job by James Hebert. First victory in the Alive Church season team. What a race.
What a race. Incredible action. That Chevrolet performance machine got industry on the side, got Memory Express on the back. That's a little Canadian place. And Hebert is so excited. He don't know what to do, Jared. He's just going to take off and throw that thing around a little bit.
And Dean, you're exactly right. You have to earn victories, and he earned it. He earned it. I mean, Reiner gave him everything he had. I think Reiner may have hurt himself. I think he had an opportunity a couple times, but man, James Hebert withstood the pressure and did it. He got it done.
When Reiner threw it in there and gave him a little bump, that was not intentional. That's just how good Reiner can close up in that area. He hit him, and then he backed out because he certainly did not want to wreck him for this win and take it away from Hebert, and that absolutely killed him. And Hebert was saying, thank God, because I've been doing this for 15 laps. I'm tired, man. Whew. That was thrilling. I'm so happy for Hebert and others. Reiner and Leo, top 3. Jason Ratliff, a nice run in 4th. Bruce, Spear, Gilly, Hunt, and Buskirk with top 10s, and then Newton finishes in 10th. I'll send you the check.
That doesn't count, Dean.
I said I'll send you the check.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Yeah, that does count, yeah. Damn it.
But if it doesn't count, it doesn't count. I don't have to pay. Okay, you heard it, people. Anyway, let's go to commercial break. We come back. We'll talk to Mr. Hebert and the other top 3 finishers. look at the BMW M2. Jared, you got any thoughts on that machine?
Fun little car. Crazy, it's a rookie car. I'll be honest. It's a little bit of a handful.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. Rookie car, good looking car, good sound on that thing. But hey, this is James A. Bears night. Let's get to it, man. What a race, Jared. A couple of late cautions there. Flipped things around, allowed Leal to get up here to third. A Bear to come up here and get this victory. But I got to tell you, I was watching A Bear not only tonight, the last few nights and the last, few seasons even. And he's getting faster and faster. And the one question was, can he finish? And can he, manage the race, not get himself in any trouble? He did all that tonight, and he had to do it with guys fighting him really, really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you look at the seasons, in the past, Dean. I mean, second place back at Kansas, not really the same kind of track as this one, right? I mean, he hasn't had a great he's after that, it's just been a third place finish at Atlanta, and then he's had a bunch of top 5 or 5th place finishes, but he hasn't really been in the position to win. I think tonight they were going to have to pry it from his dead hands at this point. I mean, he was not going to give that thing up.
No, and I love it. I mean, it makes me smile from ear to ear when a guy, we talked about it, who earns it like that. We check out our race results here. We talked about the top 10. Corey Buskirk getting that. Gilly was in 7th, Spear in 6th. So there was some great finishes for guys out here. You had Ricky Williams in 11th, Rincon. Jackson slid to 13th, so it didn't work out for him or Helm. But some other guys with some bad luck with the wrecks out there, Jared. Tragedy strikes some, opportunity opens for others.
Yeah, and one of those opportunities, I don't know if you mentioned it, but Jason Ratliff, 2-tire change, dropped back to 7th and ends up 4th. I mean, good job by Jason Ratliff there at the end. Avoided a lot of the carnage there at the end of the race and paid off for him there.
Man, what a thrilling event. Let's get into some race interviews here. We bring in the third place finisher, George Leal. George, congratulations. I mean, I don't think either one of us really thought a third was in your future at one point.
Yeah, I definitely got lucky with that first caution there. So I'll take third.
We talk a lot about trying to be a champion up here in the booth, George, and, you need some luck, but you got to will these things to happen. I mean, you turned a 15th place finish into third, man. I imagine you can't be much happier.
Yeah, it always sucks to lose when you're that close, and I thought I had a real good shot there, but yeah, I definitely am much happier with third than what I was going to end up with.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the end of that race. My goodness, they're battling in front of you. You're clipped a wall there. I think you hit it twice on the same corner there, George. Kind of kicked you back. You're sitting there. Now, Reiner gets into A Bear. There's a little wiggling and bobbling. I mean, what were you thinking?
Yeah, it was definitely good racing. I don't know if it's the one time you were talking about, I was able to shoot the entry into one high, and I got along the side of Bryce, and I just wasn't going to lift, and it just didn't stick. I kind of got it loose, hit the wall a little bit, and then there was another time where I thought I had a run going into 3, and Bryce kind of shot the gap, and I told him he can mail me a Christmas present for not running him over, but it was all good and all fun. It was great racing.
Well, end of race, things can get a little crazy out there, George, but you did, like I said earlier, perfect job for a championship run. You keep this streak alive here, and now we go to Dega. How you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's miserable. I just try to hit the pit stop. Really, that's all you can do, and not get caught up in the big one.
I mean, there's a lot of people who disagree. I might agree with you, George, but a lot of people who disagree and say there's, a level of skill and entitlement. But I feel you, man. But if the past is any indication, George, I expect you to have a good race at Dega. You definitely came back and made something out of nothing here tonight. Congrats on third place, brother. And we'll turn the mic over to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hope we put on a good show for everybody out there. Appreciate y'all doing the broadcast. appreciate all the guys that run this league, and congratulations to James. That was a great win and great racing with him and Bryce here. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, Merry Christmas to you, Jared. That was George Leal, the 51, with an improbable third place finish.
Yeah, after everything that he went through, Dean. And I'm down here with our second place finisher, Bryce Reiner. Bryce, what a finish. And let's talk about the finish. Let's start there. I mean, what a job to get down to the bottom there. And did you think you had a shot there coming to the line?
I sure did. It was a blast. I don't think I have raced this competitively to have just fun, just straight up fun. It was a blast. I mean, going at it for I don't know how many laps we did after that first caution, but man, it was a blast and didn't want to race pretty much anybody else besides these two up front. And it was such a good clean racing there at the end, but I thought I had it in going into turns 3 and 4. I sure did. I wanted to back up the corner as much as possible, but I knew George was right there. So if I did back up any sooner, he could probably dive it into the inside. And knowing it was the final turn of the the final turn on the final lap, I knew James probably would have thrown it in there a little bit harder than he usually does. That's why I was trying to back it up and just get on the gas as quick as possible. But I got loose mid corner and I just tried to get into him a little bit and just kind of pull him.
Well, you made it exciting there at the end. Was the difference in that last run the fact that you had Ab Newton that kind of stayed out on those old tires, kind of blocked your run in, and Hebert was able to get around you? Was the lead that much of an advantage for James there, or did you feel like you still had that opportunity, or did you feel like you're kind of on the back foot from that restart on?
It's hard to tell. Once I knew he took the top, I think for me in my head, I was like, okay, at this point, if I don't get a good launch, which I did not, I'm probably going to lose a position to Adam and James, and hopefully no more than that. And then I knew Adam was on older tires, so my whole, situation going into that was try to use the pick of Adam to keep James on the high side, even though the high side is better for a good run. If I could have just squeezed my nose in there under Adam, I think I would have been able to get him. But all in all, it was a phenomenal race. Sad the caution came out, but in the end, P2 isn't so bad.
Yeah, I had one taken away from me because of a late race caution, so I understand this week. But Bryce, you watched. I watched this back. You were racing hard, and you gave a little bit of a shot to James Hebert a couple laps to go there. Were you just trying to get him out of the groove, or were you just trying to make him think that, hey, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this win here tonight?
To your point, yes and no. I mean, to hit in James, I honestly don't think I meant to do that. I was coming in there a little bit too hot, and at that point when he was slowing down, I just had a little bit too much speed, and then I kind of bumped him, and I was hoping to God that I didn't wreck him, because last week we had a scuffle, and my part probably not the best way to take things, but glad I didn't wreck him and he got the win from it.
Well, Bryce, it was a great job. It did, to your point, it did look like you locked him up. There was definitely some skid marks that came down on the pavement at that point. But man, what a great race with the top three there, man. You do gain just a little bit on George Leal. I mean, you probably would have been happy if you won the race and he finished 13th, like that was going to happen.
That was the plan.
When he sped on pit road. But Bryce, great job. You did everything you could there, but a heck of a race. I'm going to turn the mic over to you and let you have the last word on your race here tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. One hell of a race for sure. Can't wait to watch this back whenever I get free time in my schedule. But hats off to James. He was telling me it's his first one in, I think, over a year, he was saying. So hats off to him, especially at Phoenix. Tough track, tough place to race. He managed to do it over the two guys that were racing him. But hats off to George for a P3. Thanks to Martin PC, DSS, Team Conti, you guys up in the booth, and all the admins that throw this league together each and every week to make it, what it is today. And looking forward to some plate track racing next week. I love it.
All right, Dean, that was our runner-up, Bryce Reiner, who put a show on at the end of that race.
Well, he did. He put on a show, there's no doubt, but maybe it's time for me to sing. Oh, Canada. You got James Bear, number 25, sitting down in victory lane. Congratulations, James.
Hey, thanks, Dean. I know you can't see me, but I was saluting you there. So,
Well, I appreciate it, sir. I've been waiting to sing Oh Canada. I said if I ever won again, I would sing it, but I never win, James, so you won for me. What a thrilling race. I mean, we talk a lot about these, especially first one. I know you had others, but a first one in Xfinity here, I do believe. And a long time since he had won, James. I mean, I always say you got to earn them. I don't want to see people moving over and giving it to you. Boy, oh boy, did you have to earn this one.
yeah, Dean, definitely, yeah, first one in this Xfinity series in this league. You're right, man. I have not won in just shy of a year here, so it's good to be back on top here and hopefully we've put on a show for you guys. That was, I'm definitely sweaty sitting here. It was a hell of a finish there. But yeah, I knew that with that restart and Adam having old tires, I definitely had a shot at this one. And I knew that if I could just get in front of Bryce, I would have a fairly decent chance at winning this race today. So glad everything worked out for me. Definitely had to work for that one. That was not an easy victory.
You did, James. I mean, we seen several things happen in those last couple of laps. It was unbelievable, right? You got loose on the exit of the one corner. In the same corner, Reiner hits the wall, so everything's averted. Another corner, he throws it in deep and gets a massive run, but it kills his exit. And then he bumps you. You had to be thinking, for the love of God, no.
That is exactly what was going through my mind as soon as I got bumped down there. And what is that, 4, I believe? And then there at the start finish line, I was like, oh man, there goes this win. But hey, we held it together and kept her straight and came home P1 today. So
it was amazing, James. I think, if I think about a shootout style run at the end, and maybe a guy who hasn't won in a while, you would be at the top of the list of who I want up there, right? You're aggressive, you're fast, and you're not going to take no prisoners up there. You're going to try for this win. You did that here, man. I mean, what was your mentality? Like, I mean, were you just like, there's no way anybody's getting by me, or was it, let's just see what happens here?
aggression. I've been kind of pulling back here on the aggression just to I still quite haven't figured out these cars. I mean, I got a good finish today, but I'm really struggling with the front grip on these cars. But with that 14 laps left, I knew that I just had to just race as hard as I could. And I love this track. I've gotten a lot of my non-league wins on this track, so I know it quite well. And all of that combined, that's what brought me home here.
Well, it showed here, James. And I just want to ask you about the pit strategy. And, we weren't really aware of what exactly happened with everybody during these pit stops or whatever. Were you able to make up any positions on pit road? How important was pit road tonight for you?
Pit road for me was very important tonight. I definitely made up a ton of positions. I believe I went to the pits 11th or thereabout, came out 3rd. So it was huge strategy for this one. I was thinking it was going to go green all the way to the end. So I was just trying to conserve my equipment there in that last run. And I mean, thankfully we got a caution.
Man, they smiled upon you, James, and maybe Santa will smile upon you now at Christmas as well, and hopefully you smile on all your friends and family. It's going to put you in a joyous mood for the holidays. Congratulations, James. We couldn't be happier to see you get this one, and we'll turn the mic over to you, brother. Anybody you want to thank, any sponsors you got?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, big thank you to Live Church for sponsoring this series, and East Coast Web Printing for the Gen 6 cars there. They definitely do a lot to keep this league afloat and keep us on TV, so huge thank you to them. As always, huge thank you to Todd and George and Greg and all the guys who run this league and make it what it is.
All right, Jared, that is race winner, the number 25, James Hebert.
Yeah, first career win in the RGR Xfinity series. And what a way to do it. I mean, you had to earn it tonight. And you feel bad for Bryce Reiner. He dominated that race. You feel bad for George Leal, for speeding on pit road, right? This race could have gone a number of different ways, but one caution that happens, about 20 to go, 30 to go, and it changes the entire complexion of this event. And that's what happens. Good things can happen if you're just patient. And remember, James Hebert started in the back. Dean, he started about 17th tonight, I think, and he ends up getting the win. And what a job by him, and to hold off the 2-point leaders. I mean, what more can you say?
I mean, I don't know what more I can say, but I want to say more. Thrilling race from James Hebert. He moves up 3 spots into 4th in the points now, Jared. And we got Leal and Reiner out front. We got Jackson in 3rd. You got Hebert in 4th. Jason Spears in 8th. Paul Kay's in 10th. Gillies in 11th. Buskirk up to 12th. So some, names that maybe not normally up in the top 5 in that area are kicking around in there, and it makes it really exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And these guys, you could say they got a little bit lucky with the cautions and things like that, but at the end of the day, they had to be there. They had to avoid those wrecks, and they had to survive, right? There was only one big wreck or 2 big wrecks in this race, and it kind of changed the complexion like we talked about, Dean. And you got guys like Jason Ratliff that grabbed a 4th place finish, or Todd Gilly that grabbed the top 10 finish. I think he was 7th. I mean, that's hard to do. It doesn't matter, the other circumstances that may have led to it. I mean, they still had to earn those finishes, and good job for those guys as well, and others.
Yeah, it was absolutely thrilling here this evening, and of course, we hope it'll be thrilling next Sunday. That's 9:10 p.m. It's the Alive Church Xfinity Series. Live fully alive, people. And we'll have all that down at Talladega next week. But for myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Jared Carr, that's going to wrap it up here from Phoenix. And we'll see you right here next time on Wind Tunnel TV.